Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. Happy Wednesday. So, I was thinking about this Wednesday and what I wanted to chat about. And I had a really awesome podcast interview this week. I enjoy all of my podcast interviews, but in the middle of this interview, this light bulb moment happened for me. It wasn't even, it wasn't intentional on the guest part. It had really nothing to do with what we were talking about, but it made me realize something that I want to share with you today. And I think that most of us go through the motions in life, especially when life gets a bit hectic and busy and we're running on autopilot. I think we don't take the time to realize that we have three really important resources when it comes down to it. We have time, we have money, and we have energy. Those are our resources. So you have to decide in any given situation what you're willing to give up more of. So, for example, as hairdressers, we need our own hair done, right? And it's something that we almost dread doing because it takes time. We're busy in the salon. It's the last place we want to be on our time off. And most of us are working in a salon situation where we can say to our neighbor, hey, I need my touch up put on. I'll do mine if you do. I'll do yours if you do mine. And we do this trade. We trade our time and our energy so that I get my hair color done and you get your hair color done. That doesn't always line up perfectly where I need mine done when you need yours done. So then I may be doing yours thinking, ugh, I don't feel like doing this. I just worked all day and I'm not as much into it because I don't now need my hair done. So there's negatives to all of them. Anything that you pick, you're going to have less of that thing, whether it be time, money, or energy. So I wanted to make this interactive today and have you actually weigh in and tell me when I bring up a situation for you personally, what would you rather give of yourself for that situation? So the first example is when my children were little, when they were babies, you didn't want to trust them with some strange babysitter because they were infants and they couldn't tell you if something bad happened. So you relied a lot on family. And when it came to family and relying on them, they also had children. So when I wanted to go back to work, when my daughter was, really little, a few months old, my sister and I worked out an arrangement where she would watch my daughter one full day and then I would watch her daughter one full day. And I have to say, I mean, I love my niece, but every Thursday, that was my day, I would wake up with such dread that it was going to be a day because the girls were the exact same age. So imagine you have two infants the same age. It's like having twins, but only having twins once a week. So I wasn't in that flow of having two of something. So, Bryn, my daughter, would be sound asleep, and I'd be like, oh, thank God I can throw a load of laundry in. Taylor would need to eat. And then I would be feeding Taylor, and Bryn would start crying that she needed to eat. And it's like, do you put down your niece to feed your own daughter because your instinct is to go to your own daughter? Like, it was always this, you know, awful feeling of somebody is missing my attention, my energy. So I was giving my time and my energy in exchange for my sister to give her time and energy to watch my daughter. So in that situation with a babysitter, would you rather say to your babysitter, hey, if you watch the kids while my husband and I hit a movie, which of course is pre-COVID, would you babysit and I'll do your highlights for you? Maybe you love doing hair, but you don't love paying for a babysitter. So then you get creative and you work out a trade. And you may be putting more energy and materials and money, basically. It may have cost that babysitter more to have her hair done, but you may be the type of person that's like, I have more time than money right now, and I want to go on a date with my husband. So I think it's different seasons in your life, different things mean more to you. And as you make more income, your time and your energy become less expendable. You guard them more because you have less of them. I'm 53 years old now, so I would much rather pay for something than take a long time getting it in another way or using more of my energy or my time. Um, Everyone has been, not, I shouldn't say everyone, some of you are blessed with amazing metabolisms, but most of us have been in a situation where we wanted to lose weight. And we can just make a decision to eat better. We can go to the supermarket and buy healthier food, which is going to cost us more money. Organic food is way more expensive. I just had my healthy girlfriend staying with me, so I can see the difference in the healthier organic foods. So you're buying organic foods, and you might say, you know what, I'm not paying for a gym or a personal trainer or any of those things. I know how to lose weight. I'm just going to walk every day and eat healthy. And that is absolutely a path that you can take. But if you've done it, you know that walking briskly and eating healthy is going to take a lot longer to lose that 10 pounds than to either go to a Jenny Craig where your meals are planned for you, or now you can hire a meal service and they deliver delicious, your calories are all counted for you, but it's expensive. So you're trading your money for that food that's done for you. Or you're taking it a step further and you're having the meals delivered and you're hiring a personal trainer. When you hire that personal trainer, not only do you get worked harder because someone's watching you. I know for me, anytime I was with a trainer and they made you do so many more reps of something versus me, I'd be like, that hurts. I'm going to stop doing that. So not only do you have that person pushing you, but you have the accountability. You will show up for a trainer that you paid for versus a friend that's like, oh, let's go for a walk and I'll show you how to do a couple of exercises. You may wake up that morning and say, I'm not feeling it. And you tell your best friend, I'm not feeling it, I'm not going. Versus if you paid $100 for a personal training session, you're not only going to show up, you're going to do the extra work and you're going to get the results much faster and better because you paid someone who's an expert to show you the way and hold you accountable. So during this podcast, and why I wanted to talk about this was we were talking about training assistants in the salon, and I loved the terminology that she used. She calls her new hires interns, and it really stuck with me because I think what happens when people get out of beauty school and they get that label of assistant, it really bothers them in that part of their journey to the point where they do anything they possibly can to skip over being someone's assistant. And I thought as soon as I hung up with the podcast, so many things were going through my mind because as an educator, I educate full time now. 90% of my education is virtual, and it was prior to the pandemic. So I was lucky that I was set up already. I was already in this world. And for me, I love virtual education. I love that I can see someone on the other side of the camera and they can be so close to me. I can be so close to them versus when I was on stage and there's 300 people in a room and there may be somebody all the way in the back that has a question that's waiting patiently and I just don't see them because there's too many people in the room. So there's pros and cons to both. And I've seen this week on social media a few little bickering sessions about people's opinions on how and in what genre they want to do their learning. So a lot of times people will say, there was just something on a feed the other day. Someone said, I just finished school and I'm considering renting a suite. What do you think? And this always triggers me because I attempted to skip the assistant phase. I was pumped up of confidence, but not a whole lot of skill when I walked out of beauty school. So I said, no way. I assisted during school. I'm not doing it. I am licensed. I am going behind a chair. And it hurt me in the long run because it took me so much longer to be successful and confident in hair color and advanced techniques. Yes, I knew how to do a men's haircut. Yes, I knew how to do a kid's haircut. I could do a woman's haircut. I could do a roller set. I could do a perm. But that was about it. When someone sat down and asked for color, I froze. They say fight, flight, or freeze. I froze. And I was like, oh no, my gosh, your color is beautiful. You don't want hair color. You don't want to do that to your color. You get perms. You have to pick perm or color. You can't do both. That was my way out of not knowing what I was doing. So I couldn't continue to do that. And I had to put the brakes on, swallow my pride of I have a chair. No one was in the chair because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and go back and go to a salon that paid crap. Everybody knew it. They were the worst paying salon in the area, but they were the best in education. So I traded my time for education because at the time, the only actual place you could go for advanced education, we're talking 1986, was for me to get on an airplane and either go to Santa Monica, California, or London, England, to the Vidal Sassoon Academy. That was pretty much it in the 80s. And that was the holy grail for me. And that was always my goal to get there. But when you're 19 years old and you're living with mom and dad and you don't know what you're doing or you're not making any money, a trip to either of those places is a big, hefty goal. So I did not have the money. So I chose time. So I went to a company that had a 2 year training program. And when you entered in as an assistant, you chose color or cut, which I now am very grateful for because I really was passionate about color and I already felt very confident in cutting. So I chose color, and they said, you're going to be here 2 years before you ever touch a client's head. You're going to be in training sessions. It's a rigorous training program. Most people don't make it the 2 years. Most people give up before they're finished. But the ones that finish are here and they are successful. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to suck it up because I don't have the money to get the advanced training. So I need to use my time. And luckily, I lived with my parents and I had the luxury of having a roof over my head and being able to be paid really shit. So again, time, money, energy, it's all relative in every situation in life. So fast forward to now. So this 19-year-old girl, me, goes and spends time in this training program. I was able to speed up the process because unfortunately for me, but unfortunately for a coworker, this older woman who was the head colorist needed surgery and they threw me right in and I never had to go back to being the assistant. I only had to train for 3 months and then I was eager and got training elsewhere and ended up being the trainer for that company. So I was able to fast track it because I had the desire to do more, learn more, be more. But that was personal to me. I could have taken that long route and just had them spoon feed me the education, but I chose not to. So back to the booth rental situation. So in that question, should I go right into a booth? There was about I would say 60-40, 60% saying, go for it. It's the best thing that I ever did. You're going to be amazing. You go. And I'm like, this person answering is probably 15 years into his or her career, has an established clientele, has the experience, has, the ability to do any service without looking to their neighbor and saying, I need help. How can they answer that for that person who is brand new, fresh out of school and has not had someone sit in their chair with manic panic on their hair, has not had someone have knots and tangles from getting one of those little Velcro things stuck in their hair? They haven't seen all of the scenarios that are going to be coming their way. And I don't know about you, but when I was starting out, would not have wanted to be in a room alone with no phone a friend ability and no mentor. So this person's getting all pumped up with like, oh yeah, yeah, I can do it. This is great. Well, now if you go right into a suite and you have no clients, you're right out of beauty school, you have no experience, no clients. Now you have rent. You have rent, you have to buy towels, you have to buy bowls, brushes, all of the equipment to get yourself set up is money. And now you're paying with your time and your money because now you have to sit there when you don't have clients and you have to pay rent. And if this person would have gone into this situation right now during COVID, she would have a negative balance of, however much she pays. I know in my area, suite is $1,200 a month. So now she owes $1,200. She needs to pull from nothing. So nothing from nothing is still nothing. You're still at zero. So all she really has in her energy bank is her time. She has no money. So now she decided to pay with both. Now she's paying with her time, actually all three. She's paying with her time, her money, and her energy. because now she's feeling defeated because she has to come up with this money out of nowhere. And then she starts to go into, I'll do your hair free, just pay for the product, or Groupons, or all of that. And now she's continuing, even when she starts to have bodies in her chair, she's going to continue to pay with time because it's going to take her much longer to get busy in that scenario versus if she had taken that same chunk of time minus the money and spent that time with a strong mentor. Yes, she wasn't going to get paid $1 million to be an intern, but internships are gold. They are opportunities. Imagine if you were given the scenario of you can pay $5,000 for a 4-day Vidal Sassoon training. You can fly to, well, you can't go to California anymore, it's closed, but pretend it isn't. So you can fly to California, $500 for the flight, $300 a night for a hotel. So you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars plus the 5,000. That's what it was when I went. It's probably way more now. So all those thousands of dollars for this intensive 5-day program, you're going to learn a lot. Or you have the ability to spend 5 days with Beth Minardi at her salon, watching her do color all day, every day for 5 days. What would you pick? Let me see in the comments what you would choose in that scenario. Would you take 5 days with a strong mentor and not get paid anything for your time? Or would you rather pay $8,000, go to an academy, get everything just, all at once, high energy, quick, unload a lot of information in a short period of time, and you trade it your time and money versus your energy and just getting it from this internship. So I know there's a delay. Iris said -0. I think that was for the other comment. Jenny said Beth. Yeah, and everyone's different, and everyone has different learning styles. So that's what brought me to what I wanted to talk about today and what light bulb went off in the podcast. So my guest was talking about her interns and how much time and energy she spends with her interns, and it's really important to her to have them have a path of education and to lead them into success as their leader and mentor. And I shared with her that before I left my salon in PA to move to Florida, I had this big idea that I was going to expand into the upstairs of my salon. My salon was a hustle bustle, busy, 1,400 square feet salon. We had, I think, 10 employees at the time. We were busy, waiting list, the whole bit. Everything was great. And when I had a new hire and had to train them, it was always like, where are we going to do hair? Because the chairs were full with busy stylists. So I had an upstairs that I used for a kitchen, for the stylist, an extra bathroom, and an office. So I went to see Van Council, who has an extremely successful business in Atlanta. He's amazing, so smart, such a great businessman. And he talked about, he put a new talent salon above his existing salon where he has people come right out of school and they have a rigid training program. And within, say, a month of this training program, they start to go on the floor like a half a day a week. Then it goes up to a full day, then 2 days, and they earn their way to more days behind the chair, and they see paying clients. But the price of the paying client is half or less than the downstairs, which is the experienced, upscale, high-end salon. I was like, I was at a business seminar and I was like, oh my gosh, I have the upstairs. This is it. I want to teach. I've always wanted to teach. This is my answer. I call an architect. I'm like, come out here. You need to help me build this place out. It needs to have a flow where, like, the new talent salon, I have to open up the ceiling so they can look down on their mentors and like look at the action and have that as a goal to look forward to. And I had all these big ideas. And of course, ideas cost a lot of money. So I want to say I threw at least 40,000 at this project between the architect, the zoning hearings, the attorneys, all the stuff to get it going. And at the same time that I was doing this, I was working with a life coach because I was ready to have a nervous breakdown. I was so stressed and so unhappy. So expand, Elaine. That's a great idea. Felt like it at the time. The things we do. When you look back, hindsight really is 2020. I was like, what the hell were you thinking? But at the time, I was like, Oh my gosh, I'm so unhappy. I just want to teach. Let me build more headaches and more things on the space above. So I'm like 35,000 into the project. I'm talking to my life coach on the phone. We're having a session. And I said, honestly, if I have to tell one more new stylist that, stop reaching for 7N when you want to do a low light. 7N looks like the color of a mouse. And I always am dramatic and go, do you think the client wants mouse fur brown? Do you think they want that on their hair? No, they don't want noodles of mouse fur brown. They want beautiful, balanced, more beigey, balanced lowlights. They don't want rat fur brown. So I said that. I can't even tell you how many times because I trained so many people. I had a salon for 30 years. You can imagine the amount of people that came through and I tried to, pour everything into. Some made it, some didn't. The ones that made it are very successful. So again, it goes back to that, most people don't make it through the 2 years. The ones that do are very successful. That's always the way. It's the grit, it's the stick to itness. So I'm like saying this to her, and I said, I just wish I knew if I should go through with this upstairs because part of me, I'm such a colorist and I have such passion for teaching color. I don't really want to have to teach cutting and blowouts and relaxers, smoothing treatments, perming, waxing, make all I don't want to teach all that stuff. And then I'm like, that's not fair to my interns or apprentices that I can only teach them color. And then I'm like, and now I'm going to have to be there every day, all day, because they need a strong mentor. So I either have to hire someone, and I'm a control freak, so I know they're not going to teach it the way that I would want it to be taught, or I'm working 3 days downstairs feeling stressed, 3 12-hour days. Now I have to see my clients and I have to be upstairs and make sure that they're not cutting anybody's ear off. So as I'm saying it to her, she's probably like, really? Do you really not know what you're saying? But you don't. You're in this world of like, I'm so stressed, I don't even know if I have matching socks on. We can all relate to that, right? At some point or another, you are so overwhelmed and so overdoing that you don't even know what you're doing. You're just going through the motions. So I said to her, I wish I knew what the answer was. I wish I had a crystal ball. And she said, oh, you know. I was like, what do you mean I know? And again, here's the difference. I was paying her a lot of money to coach me in my own shit. Could I have figured it out on my own? Absolutely. But it would have cost me way more time and way more money. I hired a coach. I hired someone who knows how to be objective about my own shit and walk me through it easier, faster, and more painless. That's the difference. So you see how it's all relating here? I know I'm ADD, but I'm really on a theme here. Time, money, energy. So she says right there, as soon as we hang up, I always send you the recording of our sessions. Go to 13 minutes, 12 seconds in the recording. She knew exactly because she's writing it down like, oh, she's probably scribbling, OMG, how does she not see this? She said, go to that part of the recording and you're going to hear yourself give you the answer that you're looking for. I was like, oh, I don't believe you because I was right here in the conversation and I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I really don't know. And she's like, okay, that's okay. Go and watch that when you get a chance. So of course I go back and at 13 minutes, 12 seconds, I say, oh my gosh, if I have to tell one more person not to use 7N by itself on a blonde for lowlights, I am just going to drive myself into the river. Like I'm going to off myself. And I was like, oh, that's what she's talking about. I'm going to have to do that for the next however many years I have this training facility over and over and over. And what that led to was me creating my online education business because I have a really weak throat. This is my Achilles heel. It's a Taurus thing, apparently. I always try to get my throat blessed on that St. Blaise Day because my throat always is my weakest thing. So I was doing these 5-day boot camps in my facility upstairs. That's what I shifted into instead of this ongoing junior salon. I did a 5-day color boot camp. And by day 3, I was struggling with my voice to keep talking and keep going and keep sharing. And I was trying to, it was like getting a fire hydrant. When you open up the fire hydrant and the water comes rushing out, I was trying to just vomit all of the information and pack it into 5 days. And all my students were sitting there like this, like, what the heck? This is way too much too soon. And they felt overwhelmed. And it was a lot of time to commit. I did it over 5 Mondays because I'm like, I don't want people missing work, but I want it to be in a time frame where it's close together because I don't want to see them, 4 Mondays from now and they forget what we did last Monday. So it was 5 consecutive Mondays and it was a lot. And I didn't charge anywhere near as much as I should have for the amount of training that they received. But what I realized was I was going to have to do this over and over and over, and the information does not change. So recently, there was another question on social media about, education and people saying like, oh, just go on YouTube. Everybody's on there and they're giving away information free. And that's true. So again, time, money, energy. You can learn everything that I teach in my online program, I'm sure is somewhere out there, either from another stylist, on somebody's YouTube, on a behind the chair video, at a hair show, but it's going to be in little teeny tiny pieces over a really long time. And I can tell you from someone who's been there, done that, that is not the path that I would recommend. Today, as a 53-year-old woman, when I start something new, which when I started the online business, that was totally foreign to me. I could barely navigate my iPhone. I was not born with an iPhone or an iPad in my hand the way these new infants are. So it was a lot. The technology was a lot. How to get a webcam, how to use the webcam, how to connect the webcam to the computer, how to do Zoom, how to share screens on Zoom. All of that was a learning curve. And from doing what I did with hair, where it took, because I didn't have the money and I didn't understand pay with time or pay with money, you can't avoid either. Now I was like, okay, I reached out to Kim Moore, who has Head Shape Matters. I said, you're amazing. You've, blazed the trail for us for online education. I hear great things. How in the world did you figure out how to do this? And she didn't spoon feed it to me. She didn't say, oh, do this, do that. She said, hire this woman. This is what I did. So she sent me down the right path and shared her coach with me. She didn't give me the answer. She showed me where to go to get the answer. I paid that coach over $3,000 right off the bat that I did not have in order to fast track this platform. I was like, I need to get there. I'm not getting any younger. This was 7 years ago. And I was like, if I'm going to start a new business, I don't want to start it at 60. I want to start it while I'm still in my 40s. So now I have to remember where the heck I was. I was on a roll, guys. Every time I'm on a roll, the universe shuts me up. Maybe I was going to say something that I shouldn't have said. Hi, Lori. Hi, Marita. Hi, Jenny. What the heck was I talking about? Somebody help me out here. I'm old. Speaking of old, yeah. So it was pay with time or pay with money and hire a coach and get there quicker, faster. So even now, moving forward, I have a virtual assistant. And in the virtual assistant world, when you go on our pages on Facebook forums, people are like, oh, I really can't afford to hire an assistant because I haven't sold any of my programs yet. And then the coach will say, but you're not selling your programs yet because you haven't hired an assistant. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Sometimes you have to take that leap of faith and hire that coach, hire that personal trainer, get those meals delivered, whatever it is that's keeping you from that next level. You need to sometimes bite the bullet and go against your gut because you've always been maybe an exchange of time person. You're that person that I'm furniture shopping right now and I hate furniture shopping. So I'll look at something, it's like one of those credenzas that's beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. It would be beautiful in my house. It's $3,500. And I'm like, oof, I am not paying $3,500 for something that's just going to sit there and not do anything and not be functional. But I'm also not Martha Stewart. So there's people who will say, okay, I love that credenza. I love that look. Now I'm going to go shopping to yard sales and flea markets and go to the Salvation Army and the Goodwill. And I'm going to find a piece of furniture that's shaped similar. And I'm going to take my time and sand it and refinish it and replace the handles and paint those. I just bought a piece for my bedroom trying to pretend that I'm Martha Stewart. Who am I kidding? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell my painter, paint this white and change out the hardware. But I met it in between. I didn't pay the $3,500 and I didn't do the Martha Stewart. I bought a $200 credenza, but then I'm going to pay a painter who paints things all the time, who has the energy and the desire to paint. I don't have that desire. So you have to decide, don't just stay stuck, is basically the moral of this interrupted ADD rant. Don't say, I don't have the time or the money and I'm just frustrated, so I'm just going to sit still and do nothing, because that's costing you time, right? And it's costing you money, because if you would have gotten further faster, you would now have the money to reinvest in yourself so that you never have to spend that time lagging. You know, the people that were giving the advice to the person right out of beauty school to skip the assistant phase, they're going to take, you know, someone's advice was, well, in 5 years, you'll understand it all. And I was like, hello, 1960s mentality. It's 2021. You don't have to take 5 years to learn what you can learn in a shorter amount of time. You just have to find the right medium, whether it be hiring a coach. Like, I am a hair color coach. If you're struggling in hair color, hire me. I'm going to get you further in a shorter amount of time so that you don't have to sit and watch YouTube videos and figure it out and try it yourself and have failures and make mistakes. I'm going to tell you, this is what it took me 34 years to know. Here's the answer. It's like buying the cliff notes of a book when you had to read Romeo and Juliet and you're like, oh my God, where art thou? These words are painful. I just want them to get to the point and tell me who dies. So that's how you have to look at everything in your life. Do I want to pay with my blood, sweat, and tears? Do I want to pay with my energy, my time, or my money? Or do I want to combine them all? If I wanted to lose weight, which I do, but I just don't ever do what I need to do. But if I wanted the quickest results, I would hire a personal trainer, hire a meal service, both at the same time, because the money that I spend on the food that I pretend that I'm going to eat, I end up spending it and then throwing it in the trash because it goes bad, because it's all food that will go bad because it's healthy and it's not in a box with 18,000 chemicals. So if I were really serious and I wanted to get this weight off, that's the path that I would take. Would it hurt to pay for that meal service and that trainer and look at that bill? Absolutely, but I would feel better. And there's different levels. So it's do it yourself, Martha Stewart it, do it yourself, walk on a track, buy healthier meals, you know, get up and move, make better choices, make good decisions, give up your favorite food, whatever. That's the long-term path. Then there's the do that plus join a gym, make it a little faster. Then there's the do that, join a gym, get the meal service, hire the personal trainer. And then there's a whole other level that requires a lot more money for instant gratification, and that's surgery. So that's an example. It's not hair related, but it's how bad do you want a flat stomach? Because if you want it bad enough, you can walk into any surgeon's office and sign up for a tummy tuck and pay, I don't even know how much it is because I would never do it, but it's so tempting, right? I'm like, oh, to just go in and have them cut it all off and sew it up and have it be rock hard. I mean, I see women who've had tummy tucks and their stomach is so tight and firm and they never gain weight back there again because all the fat cells are removed. They gain it somewhere else, but they skipped over the meal service, the walking on the track, the, you know, learning how to cook healthy meals, changing their lifestyle, and go right for the knife and just be like, here's my credit card. How much is it? 20 grand? Done. I want a flat stomach. So there's always another level. So what I was getting to when I got cut off was when I was talking to this guest on the podcast, I said, you know, I had that idea all those years ago for that boot camp. And the barrier to entry was that I was in Pennsylvania and people wanted to come from all over the country to the boot camp. And it was 5 consecutive Mondays. So it's so unrealistic for anyone outside of a 20-mile radius of my salon to come to that boot camp because they would have to get on a plane, fly to me one Monday, go back home, come back the next Monday, go back home. So I had the pleasure of being written up in, I think it was Beauty Launchpad magazine, about this 5-day boot camp and how great it is. And everybody was reaching out from, Wisconsin and, Ohio and all these other states. And they're like, how do I sign up for your boot camp? And I'm like, oh, it's 5 consecutive Mondays. And they're like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, oh, crap. Yeah, I really didn't think this through. So I have the 1 year Hair Color Secrets Insider membership, and I absolutely love it. And I love every one of my members, and I've seen how much progress they have had in such a short period of time. And after hanging up from the recording of that podcast, I thought, how amazing would it be to take an additional approach and offer people that fast 5-day boot camp fast track to success. Someone who is so tired of watching the YouTube videos, they're so tired of going to the 1-day $1,200 balayage class to learn one technique. It's a lot of money and a lot of, hotel and flight and all that stuff for one technique. What would it be like if I could be here in beautiful sunny Florida and offer this a few times a year when it's cold and awful in other places and people just want to get away? Of course, this is all after the madness of COVID. But would someone prefer, and you can tell me your opinions because some of my members are on here, would some of you prefer to spend more money and have a concentrated period of time, a 5-day intensive workshop that is every color scenario you could possibly run into ever? A correction where somebody, has all different colors on their hair, how to get vivids out of the hair, how to put dimension into an overly lightened blonde, how to do a root shadow and color melts, how to do hair painting, how to do balayage, like all of those things all packed into 5 intense days. I know it's not for everyone. I know that. But there are people that are like, get to the point. I'm one of those people. Like, I went to Vidas Sassoon. It was the best thing that I ever did because I was like going to this class and that class, and then everybody was telling me something different. Oh, hold your arm this way. No, no, no. You're going to have tendonitis if you do that. Do this. So by going down that road of go to this class, go to that class, go to that class, I felt it caused confusion for me. I got faster, quicker, better results going right with, I stayed with Beth Minardi my entire career. I was like, she's my person. If she says it, I know it's going to work because it always has. So I made a decision later in my career that that's it. I'm not going to this one's class. I'm not chasing the shiny object anymore. I know that Beth knows what she's doing. She does user commercial work. She's not doing avant-garde, crazy holographic things on hair. She's doing beautiful, regular people color that's going to come into my salon. So everything I learned from her, I'm going to use immediately in my salon, and it's going to pay me back for the investment of going to see her. Her education was not inexpensive, but it was worth every single penny. I have never left a training with her and said, oh, I want my money back. And I have felt that way a lot about a lot of other people. So I stopped it. So for my members spend a year with me. And then after the year, they're invited to what I call next level. And next level is another year of them still having access to all of the things from the first year, but we do quarterly a separate coaching call for just next level members. So it's more hands-on, it's more doing techniques. And I love that. But I would really love to have a next level after that, like the mastermind level, to have 5 days of intensive, we're face to face, we're in it together, we're getting our hands dirty, we're actually physically doing the things that you learned in the membership and in next level. So tell me what you think. I want your opinions. Debbie said my tummy tuck was the best decision of my life. Debbie, I am such a wimp. Speaking of YouTube, when I watch videos of what they do in a tummy tuck, I completely get ready to pass out. And I had a breast reduction and it was so much more painful than I ever thought possible. And my boobs are back. So I'm a little jaded, but I would love that. Oh, I just want to be able to tuck in again. I just want to tuck a shirt into jeans. Is that too much to ask? So yes, please weigh in and let me know. Reach out to me, DM me if you're a member and you're interested in Carmen's a member. She's saying she would love that. Colette's saying that would be great. Sandra, all the members are saying yes, yes, yes. So let's make it happen. Let's get together and pick some dates that you're all comfortable with flying because I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. I love being with people in person and I love the retreat that we do, but the retreat is a whole different thing and I still will be doing the retreat. The retreat is this is your time. It's time for you to have like do some inner work, do some yoga. We did Zumba and we also did hair, but it was like mind, body, spirit, everything. That's what a retreat is. This would be a mastermind intensive color workshop. Like hands dirty, gloves on. Let's get down and dirty. I am in St. Pete Beach, but I can be, we can do it in Sarasota, we can do it in Clearwater Beach, we can do it in Naples. These are all places that are close to me. Would you offer this online for Canadians who can cross the border? Debbie, I have online right now. I have tons of online education. So this workshop that I'm talking about would be in person because I want it to be hands in, hands on. We could maybe offer a look and learn virtual version for a lower price. That can definitely be done. I could hire a cameraman and have that, but I don't know that it would be the same effect for you as bringing your flat tummy and your awesome little bikini and coming and staying. Christina said, as long as it's not October 30th to November 6th. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm excited. Yes, Julie, definitely hands on. I would love to I'm actually going to talk to someone here that is taking a big chunk of time off. It's in the summer though. Would you be interested in coming to Florida in the summer? It's pretty hot. Let me know in the comments whether you prefer winter because you want to go somewhere sunny when it's cold where you are. It's a little more expensive to fly and to stay in winter because it's high season. Or if you would like to come in the summer and it be more affordable but super hot. So that I'm interested in finding out. And I could always offer it twice a year. I could do a summer version and a winter version. But I really want to meet all of you and I want to be able to get that in-person energy of, I want to see you do it. I want to see how proud you are when you do it and see the results that you get. So let me know. Reach out. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening. I talked about Beth Minardi because I always talk about Beth Minardi because she's amazing. Don't forget, February 22nd, colorful conversation with Beth and I, and you will all be connected to one another. You're going to be going into breakout rooms. It's that mind, body, spirit thing. It's not just hair color because it never was. It was never just about the color. It's always so much more. So if you didn't already get your ticket, we have a handful of tickets left. We're almost sold out, and it's Monday, February 22nd. You can go to my website for your ticket. I'm going to type it in here. So go to the website, or my Instagram is also Expert Color Solutions. You can click on the Instagram link and it'll take you right to the tickets. It's only $37 to spend an evening with myself and Beth Minardi, and we're going to be talking color, we're going to be talking COVID, we're going to be talking like, where do we go from here, what's next. You're not going to want to miss it. It's not something like, let me just buy a ticket and watch the replay. It is so not that. Like, it is very interactive, very connective. You're going to meet friends that could be your friends for the rest of your life. So if you're lonely and you're missing connection like I am, like I want to see people, I want to be with people, I want that energy, don't hesitate to get your ticket. It's going to be super unique and special, and I'm really excited about it. So thanks for hanging in with me through my technical difficulty today. Not sure what that was, but thank you all for watching and have a great week.